Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starrapter and welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to be diving back into the High Republic yet again. I was fortunate enough to receive an early review copy for the first Phase 2 book in the High Republic. That is Path of Deceit, written by Tessa, Gratton, as well as Justina, Ireland. This one isn't out until October 4th, but you can pre-order it now wherever books are sold. So this kicks off Phase 2 of the High Republic, called Quest of the Jedi. So Phase 2 basically picks up 150 years before the events of Light of the Jedi. In this era, this is the time of expansion we've been hearing about through Phase 1, where the Jedi have gone out. They have these different groups that are trying to find these planets in the Outer Rim, trying to chart new hyperspace routes, and all that exploration is happening right here and right now. This specific story is set on the planet of Downa, which we have seen and heard a lot of rumblings about in Phase 1. We have a new team of Jedi, a Jedi Knight named Zala, who is a stoic Soikan Jedi, as well as her Padawan named Kevmo, who is a headstrong Pantoran Jedi. But we also have this new organization, this new cult that worships the Force on Downa, called the Path of the Open Hand. You have the Herald as well as the Mother, who are the leaders of this group, but we also focus the majority of the time on these two characters, these two sister Everinis, called Yana as well as Marda. And Yana and Marda are basically the same species of Marchion Ro, however you want to pronounce his name. These are his ancestors, so we're getting a peek at what these people are dealing with. And this story, in a nutshell, is basically about Marda and Yana are trying to basically serve the path in different ways. We have Yana, who is one of the people that is going out and doing missions. She's very much more competitive that way, more action-oriented that way, whereas Marda's just trying to spread the good word. So when the people of the Path of the Open Hand hear that there's Jedi on Downa, they're not too happy because their ideals differ quite a bit. And that's as much as I want to get into with this story. There's quite a bit of romance, there's some action in here, and events in this book will set up what's to come in Phase 2. So getting into the good of this book, we have a great look at Force cults. The Path of the Open Hand is probably the deepest we've dived into in the current continuity, the current canon of Star Wars, as far as what Yana and what Marda are dealing with. Their ways of life, how they are living as part of this commune, how they have these little humble abodes, and how they all have their jobs, and how they're trying to spread the good word of the path and about how they utilize the Force. I think that there are big impacts on story, on characters in this book. Fates of characters are tested, judgments are called, and lots of things really feel like you are rewarded for basically sticking with these characters throughout the story. I feel like this is a good coming of age story too, right? It's a young adult novel, so there's going to be some romance in here. There's going to be some hard lessons learned by the characters of Kevmo and Marda and Yana. Relationships, both platonic as well as romantic, are tested in here. And really, some of these characters are put to the grinder in this one. I love the interesting story dynamics of the ideology of the Jedi versus the Path of the Open Hand. I think this is probably the biggest thing for me out of this entire book, is just the many conversations, for instance, that Marda has with Kevmo. Kevmo and Marda are kind of a romantic thing at some point, but they know both of their ideologies kind of prevent them from being together. You know, Kevmo, Jedi shouldn't have attachments, but then you have Marda, who knows that Jedi are basically the archenemy of Path of the Open Hand. Where Path of the Open Hand, the way they look at the Force is they let it go through them, they let it kind of speak to them, whereas the Jedi are more action-oriented. The Jedi will use the Force for good and for saving people, but the people of the Path of the Open Hand, they are basically looking at the Jedi as stealing the Force when they're using it, which could be taken from people that need it elsewhere in the galaxy. So giving or taking and not giving is what the Jedi are doing, and that makes them that makes the Path of the Open Hand look down on the Jedi. So really cool discussions like that are what I like. Diving into my negatives, that's also part of the con, because I do not think that they had to have that many conversations about that in this book. I feel like that really screwed with the pace for me. And it does mess up the momentum quite a bit throughout the story, where I really wanted to see what's going on. Momentum. And we don't get to that really good momentum until at least halfway through the book, and especially those last 50 pages are excellent, but I feel like there is a lot of dead space kind of going back and forth. It doesn't help that there's not a lot of location changes. We've seen, first of all, Donna before quite a bit in phase 1 of the High Republic, and so the fact that we really rarely leave this planet at all also kind of bogs it down for me. I think that there isn't enough action in this book. For a young adult book, yes, these characters are put through a crucible, but I would have liked to see more of that. It's just the ending of this book kind of got me down a little bit, because it's kind of ending the same way another book in the High Republic ended. For me personally, I feel like that trajectory kind of sets things up. We're like, hey, haven't we been here before? This is kind of like deja vu. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I would like to see a little bit more of world building for the entire galaxy. This is a big deal, guys. This is phase 2's opening book. And if we looked at phase 1, wave 2, wave 3, we've had big books that kind of opened us up into what's going on in the galaxy, what's going on with the core, what's going on with the senators, what's going on with the main adversaries. I understand this is a new area. We don't have the Nile and all those guys causing havoc, but I would have liked to at least checked in with some other characters throughout the galaxy, kind of build things out, because we get that great opening crawl, which is talking about the Pathfinder groups, which are charting new routes, and these pirates and these monsters, and we really didn't get much of any of that. And it just feels like a missed opportunity, because we're trying to set this as a touch point for new readers to get on board. But if I was a new reader reading this book, I just don't know if I would be all that engaged, because there's just not a lot of characters. There's just not a lot of action going on. So it's not really a fault of the writers, but maybe more of a fault of kind of like where this is put inside phase 2 of the High Republic. I feel like maybe there's another book or story that should have come up before this. Again, I don't know what's coming next, but I was expecting a little bit more of a big galactic kind of thing that, like, we've seen with Light of the Jedi or the Rising Storm or the Fallen Star, where we have these big epic moments, these big epic battles and different things that kind of brought everybody together and gave us a good wide lens. I feel like that's what the High Republic Phase 1 did so well. And so far, Quest of the Jedi kind of let me down just for this book so far. So with that being said, I got to give the Path of Deceit a score of a 6 out of 10. I thought it was fine. It was okay. But I was really expecting quite a bit more for the first foray into Phase 2, which is this exciting new era of exploration. And, well, we didn't really get much exploration in this book. So that's going to do it for my review of Path of Deceit. What'd you think of this one? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on the High Republic, I have plenty of videos. I even have my own playlist dedicated to the High Republic on this channel right now. So make sure you go ahead, check that out, leave a comment, leave a like, and do subscribe to the channel for more. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.